All right. Well, my clock says noon, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. We may have a few more people join us as we go. I have muted you all. If you are on your computer, you can unmute yourself as you need. If you have any issues, just let me know. There is a chat box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. But welcome to our GROW Nebraska's Thursday training for August. So we're excited to have all of you here. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things before we get started. I would like to remind you that we do have these trainings every single month. You can register for them at grownebraska.org. Our next one in September, I'm pretty excited about this. We've got Blake Peshek from Provident Promotions, and he is going to be talking about your website, so how to get a game on website. I would also like to encourage you to visit us at the Nebraska State Fair. If you're coming to the fair, we're going to be in the Pinnacle Bank Expo building. It should be amazing. And then I'd like to invite all of you to save the date for our annual Market Tech Conference in Kearney, Nebraska. We've lined up our keynote speaker. We're bringing in Jen Herman from Jen's Trends. So she's one of Social Media Examiner's top bloggers. We're super excited to be flying her in from San Diego. It's going to be an amazing conference. We are closing the registration after 300 people register. So make sure you save the date and register as soon as we open. But now we are going to go ahead and get started. So, quick reminder, it would not be possible for us to keep these Third Thursday trainings free and open to the public without the support of our wonderful sponsors. And we have a very special one on the line today. Today's training is actually sponsored in part by the Nebraska Public Power District. They've supported us for over 7 years. Rick Nelson, who works there, has served on our advisory council. They're really dedicated to helping Nebraska businesses grow. And we have Ken on the line who's going to tell us a little bit more about that. So Ken, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for that introduction. We really appreciate it, and we really are very impressed with the work that GROW has done, and we enjoy supporting organizations such as yourself. I am located in Columbus, Nebraska. I'm an economist at Nebraska Public Power District. We have an economic development group that is led by Mary Pletner, and as you mentioned, Rick is our representative to the advisory group. NPPD provides services to communities and economic development organizations in areas that are served either by ourselves directly at retail or by our wholesale customers. And what that means is that we service about 87 of the 93 counties. And if you're located in one of those areas where your power is provided by us or directly or indirectly through a wholesale provider, we provide services to your local economic development group, and that's how you're likely to run into us. If you work through an economic development group and they ask us to support your operation, we'll try to do that. You may see us out on business retention and expansion visits to find out what you need or to work with you. Some of our current efforts right now, we're focused a lot on agriculture and agricultural related industries. We're doing a lot of work with the dairy, poultry and swine organizations to try to bring more of those industries and more of the industries that rely upon those products to the state. Just a quick overview of our staff. Our field staff is Rick Nelson in Lincoln, Brian Vossa in Ogallala, and Nicole Solachek in O'Neill. And we also have chair staff in Scottsbluff and York, Terry Rylich in Scottsbluff and Craig Vincent in York. And so you may run into them from time to time. This is one of the organizations that we support. We also work with the Partnership for Rural Nebraska, Leadership Nebraska. We work with AFAN for livestock development. We work with the Nebraska LEAD program and with the University on Stronger Economies together. And so I think that's the overview that I wanted to provide. If there are any questions or someone wants to submit a question, I'd be happy to try to answer it. If you would like to contact us, you can call our toll-free number, which is 877-275-6773. That's 877-275-6773. And we'll be happy to try to provide what information we can, or to direct you to a provider that might be able to provide that information.
Perfect. And Ken, we will email that out to our members after the call as well.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. All right. And did you have anything else you wanted to say, Ken?
No, I think that's going to cover it, unless somebody has a question or submits a question.
Awesome. Well, I will let you know if that comes up, but thank you so much for being on the call today, and thank you again for all of your sponsorship.
Happy to do it.
And now, the reason we're all here, we have Sally Cohen from eGrowth Marketing. And I just love Sally. She's been a member of GROW Nebraska for years now. She's really helped us grow our cause, and she's a huge advocate for small businesses. Sally, I am going to ask you all to bear with me while I switch to your PowerPoint. And then we'll be able to go ahead and get started. And can you all see that all right?
And while that's loading up, I want to do a shout out for GROW Nebraska. It is an amazing organization. I think I've been involved for at least 10 years, and it just constantly amazes me the things that you guys offer for small businesses and helping people get started with product and service kinds of businesses and help us, reach and connect with each other. So, huge shout out and thank you to GROW Nebraska.
Oh, well, thank you. We love working with you.
Well, thanks. So let's jump in. So today we're going to be talking about converting e-commerce customers into brand ambassadors. So everybody on the call knows I have a e-commerce store that we started in 2004. So I do this every day, as well as a marketing company. So I work for a number of different kinds of companies that are both e-commerce sellers and more traditional kinds of brick and mortar or business to business kinds of operations. So I have a lot of experience in working behind the scenes with a lot of these different kinds of customers. So I wanted to give you some tips and strategies on brand ambassador. Go ahead, Heidi. So we're going to go through three different steps here. The first step is to evaluate what we have today. The second is to plan what we want to do tomorrow, and then work on setting some goals and incentives for our teams. So the first thing that I always suggest to people is to take a look and evaluate what's going on in your world. What's working with your customers? What did you originally envision with your business as to who your customers was going to be? Sometimes what happens to us as business owners is we go with the flow and we get customers and we're so excited that we forget that we maybe wanted to do more wholesale than retail, and all we're doing is retail right now. And that wholesale was really our original vision because we thought that that would bring us more money. But because of other kinds of efforts, it worked that way. So one of the things when you evaluate who your customer is, take a look back and say, what was I planning to do? How is this working? And what is that customer base looking like? Am I missing a key component from my original business plan? And then start taking a look and identifying what that target customer looks like. So as we move ahead, we start looking at identifying that customer to say, go ahead, Heidi. Um, how are they buying from us? When we identify our customer, we want to talk to ourselves, or we want to write it down, or we want to talk to our staff. How are they doing any kind of personal interaction with us, or are they all online? When you're talking about an e-commerce customer, you may have met them at the state fair, or you might have gotten them through the GROW Nebraska store, or they may have purely found you by a Google search. So you need to figure out, where are those customers coming to me, either by Google Analytics, or you just know where your customers find you. And then you want to take a look at that customer and again divide that group and say, and which of those customers are the most profitable? What is my 80-20 rule to what I'm selling and how I'm selling it? Because 80-20 is usually the typical breakdown. 20% of your customers are producing 80% of your revenue, or some subset of that. Sometimes it's 70-30. But there is a percentage of your customers, they're either buying and they're paying for shipping, while other customers you're supplementing by giving free shipping. Or they're customers that buy 3 products instead of 1. Like on my Amazon store, my most profitable customers buy 1. My shipping goes over the top when people buy 2, and I don't make as much money because my shipping is more expensive than what they pay through Amazon. So you want to start looking at it and saying, which of those customers have I identified as my most profitable customer to my business? And then I want to look at, how am I interacting with those target customers? Am I giving them incentives? Am I giving them newsletters? Am I giving them free information? And if I'm looking at my target customer, maybe I want to give them a better recipe, or I want to put them in a club, or I want to give them something to make them special so that they are more of my brand ambassador because they get something special from me. And it may be something pretty easy, like just an extra sticker on their package that says, thank you for your customer loyalty, or something that you can envision that says, how do I tell them that they're special to me? All of my customers are special, but that 20% is even extra special. How do I incent them to be that brand ambassador for me? And one way is to tell them that they are special to me. Tell them that they're, a cut above my other customers. And then test how you're responding to your customers. Are you sending them an email newsletter? Are you calling them personally, or somebody in your office calling and thanking them for their order? Are you sending them a text message? There's text message programs out there. I have a client who owns a rental store, and she uses text messaging. Her clients are all high school and college age girls. Guess what? Text message works for her very well. So think about how your customer is consuming information, because we all consume information differently at different ages of our life. And you have to say, what's that target customer? How are they consuming my information? And that gives you also the ability then to test those platforms to say, what is my message and how am I delivering it? Next, Heidi.
Yep.
So once you know, and I'm going through this part quick because we have the meat coming up here of what we're doing for our brand ambassador. But once you know that who, what, when, where, and why, we can talk about, how do I get there and how do I talk to them? So when I start my planning for success, when I start saying, okay, now I know my target customer, what are the 3 things that I can work on that will increase my business with my brand ambassadors? One is to give them a good way to do repeat orders. The second is direct referrals, and the third is online reviews. So let's get into those 3 pieces. So repeat orders, you want to communicate to your customer that you want them to repeat order. So if you have a supplement, or you have a barbecue sauce, or you have a product that's consumable, you want to figure out, is that 30 or 45 days to use the product? So if it's 30 days to use the product, it's 3 or 4 days to get there. I want to communicate to them in 3 weeks that they need to reorder. Either I want to call them, I want to send them an email, I want to text them, I want to get the message to them to repeat order. I may need to give them an incentive. Maybe I give them free shipping. Maybe I give them a 10% off coupon. But I want to change that offer up so that they know that they're not necessarily going to get this every single time. And the third one is automated order fulfillment. And I just wanted to touch on this. Even though they're our brand ambassador and we want to offer things to our brand ambassadors, we also have to remember there are other customers out there that take advantage of these kinds of items. Automated order fulfillment, I learned the hard way that by putting that on my website, people would come in, they'd sign up for it, and then they would take advantage of the price difference, and then they would cancel it. Well, canceling is not as easy as it always sounds. They would cancel, they may have canceled after we shipped the next order. They may have canceled and then said, I don't want this, so I have to, I, as the owner of the business, have to ship it back, even though they didn't want it, because of all these other kinds of issues. So automated order fulfillment is something that you really want to take a look at if that's something that works in your business, to say, is that something that really will work? That may work more in a business-to-business kind of situation where you're automatically order fulfilling for another business, and then you can keep their credit card on file. And you obviously want to check with your credit card company how their rules are, but there is a process to do that. So that's repeat orders. When we move ahead to direct referrals, our customers, a lot of our brand ambassadors want to give us referrals. And as a salesperson my entire career, that's something that's very hard to sometimes ask for. But if you have a cheerleader, they want to help you. They want you to succeed. They like to help you succeed, but you have to figure out a way to give them the way to do that. That was why, for those of us that remember the Sprint Friends and Family program, when Sprint offered that in the early 80s, get your friends and family and we'll give you a reward discount on your cell phone or in your long distance, people went nuts over it. They loved it. They loved the opportunity to save money and have their friends and family sign up too. There was all sorts of hooks in that program that worked. They were easy to administrate. They were easy for people to understand, and it worked tremendously well. And those kinds of programs, and this is a hyperlink, so Heidi can share this this deck with you, but that will go out to an article that has some ideas on programs, software, applications that you can use to set up a referral program for friends and family. So if you have a product that makes sense, do that. Or ask people for a referral. If you're on the phone with them, say, hey, do you have any friends that should be using this product too? Or I think there's a lady who owns a vineyard on here. If I sent you a coupon for a bottle of wine, or if I sent you a bottle of wine to take to your next house, hostess gift, would you take it to your hostess and share my wine with your friends? There are things that you can do to ask for a referral. Now, I don't want to get into liquor license issues with that, but think of ways to ask for a referral. Have your brand ambassadors working for you. Give them an incentive to work for you. Be creative with that, because people do want to do that, and they love to talk about you on social media. So social media is the other place that you can look, and ask people for referrals. And social media sometimes is based on the content. And a great example of one that's doing a really good job right now is a company called Dream Farm. And Dream Farm sells these little kitchen gadgets that, like scissors to cut pizza and unique kinds of measuring spoons and things like that. They have a whole YouTube channel full of videos that they're doing that go viral, and which is actually like a direct referral. People are saying, hey, watch this video, it's really cute. That's really a direct referral. That's what going viral means to me. But if you look at it from that perspective, that's why you want to do really good, inventive, creative, special content on social media. And you're better off putting good content up than lots and lots of crap. And it's very hard to do. You have to really think about, out of the box, what does my product do for somebody else that could be fun? One of the first original viral videos was a guy that took a cell phone and threw it in a blender and blended it up, or whatever it was that he blended up. And I can't remember, but that's a kind of a thing. Remember the product being blended. That's what he did to get noticed, and he was wildly successful after that. That's what social media can do if you have the right kind of product with the right kind of message to go viral. Then people will start watching it and referring it over to other people. And oh, by the way, cats always work. Number 4 is you can buy these kinds of referrals, or you can create your own website to buy. These are pay-through clicks is what PTC means. So pay-through clicks, to me, a great example of that is I have a client who works in solar. He buys direct referrals where companies put up a website that says, hey, find out how solar can work for you, and we'll give you a free quote in your area. Give us your zip code and your email address. And then that company who owns that website sells that to people in Nebraska or Illinois or wherever they got the lead from. They'll sell it to a local solar company or a local roofing company or a local type of company that services that kind of lead. So if you have a product that you can create your own, that here's some information, come to me and I will give you something else for free, a free quote, a free ebook, a free whatever. That's one way to do it, to get direct referrals, to get people to want to give you their information. And getting that kind of information can be tough. People don't like to always give up their email because they think you're going to spam them. So you have to be very careful with how you craft that and what your plan is with that kind of a marketing technique. Because the last one ties into that, and that is use I'm the expert. And when I do I'm the expert marketing strategies, it may be I'm the crafter of the wine, or I am the dentist, or I am the doctor, or I am the financial planning expert, or whatever it is. I'm the seed expert. I am the expert in my industry. You want to listen to what I have to say because it's important. The hard part about that strategy is that you have to put your ego aside because you are the expert. People do want to hear what you have to say. Doesn't mean you want to lecture or any of that. It's just that you have good information to impart. So you want to get to the stage where you have a message to give to people that you can give for free, whether that's an ebook or like what I'm doing today, that I'm the expert in the marketing side to do that, and then people contact you to do business with you because they know you're the expert. So that's another way that you can get direct referrals. That's a way that you can go meet people, whether you go speak at a Kiwanis club or you go speak at a local school or you go speak wherever you're going to go speak. It does say, I'm the expert. You should be referring people to me. Your customers then know that. And you can put that out on your social media. You can put that out in your email. You can put that out in other ways so people know to come to you. That was a long time on direct referrals. But now we go into the other one. If I get asked any question, it's how do I get more reviews online, or what do I do with bad reviews? So we're going to go through this again relatively quickly, but give you some information on what you can do. So go ahead and go to the next slide, Heidi, please. So we all know where all these reviews are found, and I just listed a few of them. But what the most important thing to you is, it's not where you want to talk, it's where other people are talking about you. Again, going back to my friend that has the prom rental dress store, she's talking to kids and their moms in high school and in college. Where are they talking? So those are the kinds of things that you want to look at. Yeah, you can go ahead. So first thing you want to do is go out there and claim your business. Claim your business on all of the places where you can possibly claim it, particularly on Yet. Yet is owned by Google, and it's part and parcel with Google Maps. But number 5 on here is most important. As you're claiming your business, if you haven't already done so, make sure you're ready with content, because as you claim these listings, it will ask you for content. It will ask you your hours of operation. It will want to know any information that you can put into this listing will show up on mobile phones, will show up on internet searches. So you want to make sure that you get the most accurate information on this you can. Trust me, you want to go change your Google map, good luck. It is virtually impossible to change a Google map listing once you put it in. It keeps reverting back. It does it all of the time. Google is not perfect. They will revert back listings that you can change and claim and verify. So the first time you put in information is extraordinarily important to put in good, accurate information and fabulous pictures that have your logo, have your number in the picture, because those pictures will translate into Google Images. You want to make sure they're professional, they're long lasting, they're good, high quality images when you put them out into Google Business, Google Maps, Safari, all of these. You want to make sure that that content is solid. You pay attention to that. So go ahead, Heidi. So in this deck, in the claiming of the business, there's a phone number for Google. Google is now supporting with a phone number. So make sure you do the free portion. Don't let Google sign you up for paid things. They're pretty expensive, and they're on a push now to get businesses to pay for email and other things through them, which is fine. That's a good business strategy on their side. And next I have the phone number for Safari and the access, and these pictures are hyperlinked. Oh, excuse me, I put yet next. And you want to go into Yet, you want to go into Apple Maps, you want to go into all of these and see where it says sign in. You don't have an Apple ID, it will tell you. Claiming your business on Yelp. Stay here for just a second, Heidi. There's a phone number on this page. There's also an app that you can put on your smartphone for Yelp. So if you have something, another client of ours has an auto service area where they do oil changes and car repair, and they make sure they have Yelp up. They also have Yelp on the business owners on their apps on their phones, as well as Google Maps, Google Business, Google Analytics. I mean, she has all of the stuff and apps on her phone. So you can run your business from your smartphone. What I can't tell you is how then, if you hand it over to an employee, if it's on your phone, you have to make sure that you have those accounts documented so you can hand over that account information so somebody else can look it up on a desktop for you. So you just want to make sure that you document what you've done. Go ahead, please. So how do you get more reviews? So you've signed up on all of these spaces. Now you can kind of start monitoring things. You signed up, you can sign up for Google Alerts, you can sign up for all of those kinds of alerting software monitoring, and go through and figure all of those pieces out. But how do I get people talking to me? How do I get them to do reviews? Now, there's some people out there that say, don't offer an incentive for a customer review. It's like tainting the review. Other people say, oh, I give incentives all the time, that I want to give incentives for people to give me a review. So that's one of those things you as a business owner need to make that, in your own mind, what you want to do. If you want more reviews, though, make it easy for your customers. Put the link for all of your social media on your website, on your email. Remind them with a card in there. Like if you're fulfilling an order, put a card in there. Hey, you like our products? Say so on Facebook. Whatever that message is, ask your customers to do that. Yelp is a little bit different. Yelp is pretty clear that they don't want you asking for Yelp reviews. People already do a lot of reviews on Yelp, and Yelp is more restaurant and retail store kinds of things. Again, do it promptly. If you have the customer's email address, follow up and ask them, hey, you liked our product, please tell everybody on social media. If you have a problem with your product, please let us know so we can fix it. I mean, there are ways to craft that message to say to people, please go out there and give reviews. But if you expect all this to work, remember, you usually, what's the saying in school? It's three no's to a yes, or three negatives to a positive. So you may get, the other side. Sometimes you get the bad reviews, and we're going to go over what you can do with that. Go ahead and move on. So when you go through, I touched on tracking just a little bit, but the first thing we already went over, claim your business. Number 2, set up Google Alerts. If you don't know how to set up Google Alerts, Google it. It'll tell you. You can pay for monitoring. There is software out there to pay for to get monitoring done for you. There's also some free monitoring software out there. When I've tested free monitoring software, it's it does miss some things, and paid monitoring can miss some things as well, but there is some free monitoring. You can even just go out to Facebook and search by a hashtag, just like you do in Twitter. You can search by a hashtag and see who's mentioning you out there in those two major platforms. But then you can also make sure you assign that monitoring to somebody internally. You can say, to an intern, or you can say to somebody else, hey, why don't you go out once a week, spend 15 minutes and check and see if anybody's talking about us out on Facebook, if that's where you think your customers are talking about you. And then you can also assign it to somebody externally. And then you want to make sure, however, no matter who you assign this to, even if it's to yourself, set up a process for after hours issues. It's always the dry cleaner closed at 5 and my prom dress was there at 5:15 and I complained at 5:30 on Friday night. Nobody responded until Monday morning. And then in social media terms, that looks like your response is horrible. You get rated by social media. You don't want that kind of an issue. If somebody puts out something, you want to respond as quickly as possible, and you want to respond appropriately. So think about it ahead of time. Go ahead, Heidi. So when you're responding to positive, it's pretty easy. Thank you so much. Thank you for, thumbs up, emoji, and there's lots of ways to respond to positive, right? But it's negative that you want to be careful when you're responding to negative reviews. Typically with negative reviews, we recommend, obviously based on the review, to say something like, thank you so much. We appreciate that you had an issue. Can you please contact our office, or we've reached out to you and we're happy to work this out offline, right? You want to say something well crafted that is acknowledging that the review is out there, and then saying you're doing something to fix it, right? Now, negative reviews, it just happened to the referee that he did the bad call in a basketball game. Don't ask me which one because I'm not good at it, but he was the roofer here in Omaha, and he got, 700 negative reviews on Facebook from the fans in Indiana. And so what do you do? I mean, because at that point in time, obviously none of these folks in Indiana had used him as a roofer, and he had all those reviews. So of course what you would do in that kind of a case is you would contact the platform. He contacted Facebook, and Facebook intervened and took those reviews down because it was obvious that they were people that were not in his market talking bad about his business. But it was a big deal that he had all these negative reviews, and it really did do damage to his business. So you want to be careful with watching those reviews. And those negative reviews, some of them you can take down. You own the page. If you want to take it down, you can take some types of content down. Not every kind of content, even you as a business owner of the page, can take down. That's when you hope and pray that somebody has either threatened you or sworn at you, because if they threaten or sworn at you, you can contact the platform and say, hey, there's this review. They've got swear words. We're a family business. We don't allow swearing on our page. And that's a definite violation. It's also a violation, obviously, to do something threatening on a page. So you can have those reviews pulled down by the site itself. Otherwise, again, a negative review, you still should say something at least the first time. If the person continues to persist, which I've had happen, one other strategy you can employ is your brand ambassadors will come in and they will put things on there to say, hey, I've had great luck with this. They answer their phone all the time. They take care of my problems immediately, not sure what your issue is. Coming from somebody else can help wash out a negative review. But every situation is different. Every situation you need to think through, and you need to realize no matter what you say, if that person is that mad at you, they're going to retort, and they may get their friends to also say things about you. So you want to not start a war on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. You want to be very, very careful to take it offline anywhere you possibly can. Next. Oh, and then I just went through all of that. But you just go through bad reviews and keep on going. We're good. So again, for planning for success, we want to do those things. We want to repeat orders, we want a direct referral, and we want online reviews. Those are 3 things we can do to get our brand ambassadorship up. So next, we want to set our goals. And this is actually pretty easy. It's like anything else. Set your goals based on your business plan. So if you want to increase your business 20%, you want 40% more of those 20% business customers that produce 80% of your profit, or however your numbers work. That's what you want to do. You want to look at the numbers to plan to say, if I want to increase my business 20%, I need 40 more customers at my brand ambassadors because they buy from me consistently, or I need 400 more customers, or I need some number that gets me to that target, and benchmark that. As a salesperson, I have to live by the numbers. I have to be able to say to myself, to make my business goal, this is the number of people I need to talk to make this many appointments, to get this many sales, to get this much revenue through the door. And this is the kind of revenue that I'm looking for, and go out and get that. And that's actually very hard to do, but it's one of the best things for your business that you can do. And then don't get caught in what everybody else is doing. Just because everybody else is doing Facebook, just because everybody else is doing Twitter, doesn't mean that it works for you. Doesn't mean that offering an incentive will work for you. Sometimes offering incentives is a slow way to losing money in your business. So make sure you're looking at that and saying, what can I come up with creative that my customers would respond to, that I'd still make good money at, and I can service my customers longer and stronger and better throughout the time. And then finally, make sure that those milestones are realistic. If you're going to set milestones and goals for yourself, make sure they're achievable, make sure they're realistic, and make sure they're either written down, or at least I'm verbal. So I tell my husband, this is my goal, and he holds me accountable, right? So, and not in a negative way. He's also my business partner. So I can say to him, as my business partner, this is my goal in revenue in the next 6 months. Hold me accountable to it. Because if I say it and I know I'm accountable to somebody, I'll go get it done. I'll go double it, because I'm that kind of competitive person in my head. I know that works for me. What works for you, if it's writing it down, if it's putting up a picture of Tahiti on your desk tack board, or whatever it is that is an incentive for you, even if you're a team of 1, you still need to have your own personal goals as well as your business goals. And make sure, as a small business owner, I know it's hard, but make sure you set up an incentive plan for yourself. And maybe it's a trip, or it's a car, or it's a new something. It's something you've always wanted to have. Make sure that you set that goal for yourself, and make sure you reward yourself. Make sure you carve out that money, or that or whatever it is, time. Maybe it's a vacation, just time away from the office. Give yourself permission to give yourself an incentive so that you can reward yourself with a win. Whatever that win means to you, it's a mission trip with your church. Do it. Make sure that you incent yourself. So that's it. I hope that I've answered, and I'll answer questions if Heidi will let me.
Yeah, we did have a question in chat from Carol. She says that Pinterest notified her that they took down her logo, telling her that someone objected. How does she find out what the objection was?
If they send it to you in email, obviously, then you can respond back, or you can Google it, Google Pinterest customer service, and ask them for more information and see what the objection was, and query them more. Some of these sites are better at having, personal kinds of support than others. Like I said, Google having a phone number out there for public use, that's the first time in, 10 years that there's been anything like that. So Pinterest is that way. Pinterest will follow their guidelines. If somebody complains, it's easier for them, if somebody complains, to take it down. And you're absolutely right to go fight it back and say, why? Why was this taken down? And it may be a competitor. A competitor may have said, oh, I just don't like that logo, and complained to get your logo down. And Pinterest doesn't know that. They just don't know. So it's worth following back with Pinterest and seeing why they took it down. And if you want me to take a look at your logo, send it over, and I'd be happy to look at it and see maybe I see something on there that would make some sense, or maybe answer a question for you.
Yeah, and I am going to unmute everybody. And Carol, I will be sending out Sally's contact information after the call as well. So everybody is unmuted. Does anyone have additional questions?
I understand I went through everything very quickly, and it's pretty overwhelming, especially as an e-commerce store owner, to do all of these steps. Am I perfect at doing all these steps every day? No. But I do find that there are certain things that do work for me over time with working with brand ambassadorship. I'm telling you, caller ID on my phone is probably one of my best tools, just knowing who's calling, so I don't waste my time with telemarketers. And I am answering calls from customers, especially when I see, a name that I know, to answer that phone with a smile on my face. So, there are some other kinds of things that you just have to always remember in your daily business that sound easy, but they're really difficult when you're in the trenches of doing other things.
I have a question. The trend right now is Amazon in a huge way. What do you see out there in the next 5 years in terms of marketing online, selling online? Pretty open question.
Yeah, no, I've sold on and off on Amazon, and I know other small sellers that have been on there as well. I think Amazon is going to continue to dilute and go after their markets. I know they're going after tickets next as the next industry they're after. They'll keep their base, and it'll become a fight between Walmart and Amazon. The biggest issue that I have, truthfully, is not Amazon as much as it is Google. Google, you try all of your SEO techniques, you try all of the various kinds of things, and your product will show up. Amazon will always show up over you, and that's a Google search engine function. And that's a real frustrating thing to a small business owner. I think if there's some changes in the way Google delivers information, then small owners have a better opportunity to sell. I know Walmart has tried an online store version like Amazon. I know Sears has done that. But the one that I think has a chance to take on Amazon is Alibaba, which is owned by the Chinese government. And Alibaba is another kind of seller, and they sell internationally. It's a different kind of a platform than Amazon, but I could see Alibaba taking on Amazon in a different way. So, like I said, I sell on Amazon, and it's very frustrating. It's very tough. You need to think of yourself as a guest in somebody else's house, and you need to smile and thank them every time they smack you in the face, because they don't like us as small sellers. And that's the reality in Amazon, and you need to know their rules, their regulations, and how they pay. And you really need to be paying attention, because you can lose money very quickly.
Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you doing?
Did that answer your question? I don't know if I did answer your question. That me as a small seller on Amazon, I'll probably stay on there as long as I can, just because I make okay money with it now. But make sure you're.
You answered my question. I appreciate your insight.
No problem. Yeah, and I do, and just so everybody on the call knows, I think Google does some wonderful things for us, but you need to be kind of paying attention to the little bit broader picture of Google, and when they change their algorithms. I mean, every time they churn their algorithms, they get smarter at it, and we as business owners become, and small business owners particularly, become less and less relevant on this big platform. And it's difficult to break through that noise. That's what I'm saying, like YouTube videos and some of those kinds of techniques still work to go viral. Those kind of viral activities still do work. They're very difficult to do. They can be very expensive, but they can also be a lot of fun, and that's what customers are looking for. They want to talk to fun, nice people that have a good time. You know, so there is always room in the market to be that person.
And Sally, we did have a follow-up question from Carol in the chat. She would like to know about, she had the question about her logo on Pinterest. She wants to know if there are legal requirements to use an illustration that's in the domain.
That is in the domain? Oh, if it's in public domain, then that's more of a legal question. I'm not a lawyer, but you have to look at it from that perspective. They may have said that this was original artwork that you don't have, you know, you don't have the right to use, and that may be an issue. You could do like you can do a Google search to see if, you know, if the picture is out there in public domain. If it's publicly licensed, then you need to go back and tell Pinterest, here's the link to show that this artwork is publicly licensed, or I paid to own this artwork. Because you can show, like, I bought it on Adobe stock, and then I used that to finish this logo. And by the way, I do want to say it is coming. I keep saying the same thing. It's coming. But when I work on a customer site or I work on a customer's ad, I buy the stock. I pay for it, because I don't want to have somebody come back and say, oh, you used this licensed picture and you didn't pay for it. Particularly logo work, brochure work, website work. You want to make sure you own the pictures, or you took the pictures, and you don't have any like Nike logos in them, or Nebraska jerseys in there. I mean, if you're going to shoot a video, make sure that the people in the video are wearing shirts without any logos on them, as example. I mean, it's really tough. You gotta be very, very careful what you do, and still have fun with it. Well, Heidi, I hope I answered everybody's questions. I am available by email or by phone, and Heidi's sending out my information. I'm always happy to answer a question.
Yes, and thank you so much, Sally, for such wonderful information. This was an awesome training. So, everyone else, thank you for attending today. If you're interested in any of our upcoming trainings, they are all listed on our website, including trainings from our partners like REAP and the SBA. It's all on our calendar of events. So if you go to grownebraska.org, you can find that. Or if you follow us on social, we do post about our upcoming trainings, so you can learn more about them there. And if you have any other business questions or suggestions for training topics, please email us. Please let us know. We'll either refer you to an expert, we'll do a one-on-one consulting session with you, or we'll line up a speaker who can present about it. Again, thank you all very, very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.